Cincinnati 911. What is the address of your emergency?
I found a dead body. Somebody threw a bag, like on the edge of the bridge, and my curiosity got the best of me, so I got up there and knocked it down, and it was heavy. It hit the ground. It's like a body bag. I'm almost 60 years old, and I've never had anything like this.
Right.
I never thought, this is crazy.
In the early hours of December 12, 2020, Cincinnati police received a harrowing 911 call reporting a body inside a bag dumped beneath the Purple People Bridge along Pete Rose Way in downtown Cincinnati, Ohio. As officers rushed to the scene, they made a chilling discovery. The body belonged to 29-year-old Nitisha Lattimore, a young woman brutally killed by a man after she suffered a miscarriage. But the horror didn't stop there. Just days later, investigators uncovered an even more heartbreaking truth. Nitisha had a 3-year-old son. That same man had thrown the toddler into the river, taking 2 innocent lives in a single devastating act. This is the tragic story of Nitisha Lattimore.
Deshaun Brown deserves nothing less than the death penalty. That's exactly what you deserve. No mercy at all.
Her story brings us to the city of Cincinnati, Ohio, a city that is known for its rich history and deep ties to American baseball. Often referred to as the Queen City, Cincinnati seamlessly blends Midwestern charm with urban energy, offering a unique blend of historic architecture and modern innovation. But beneath its cultural charm lies a stark truth. Cincinnati's crime rate is a notable 93% higher than the national average, and it was here, in a city known for its resilience, that Nitisha's life would be cut short by an unthinkable act of cruelty. Nitisha Lou Lattimore was born on November 8, 1991, in Cincinnati, Ohio, to Roderick Lattimore and a mother whose name has not been publicly disclosed. She was raised in a close-knit extended family where her uncle Marlon Hunter played a major role in helping to raise her. Her family has always been supportive, standing by her through many of life's challenges. For those who knew Nitisha, often described her as energetic, loving, and full of potential. From a young age, her intelligence and vibrant spirit stood out. Whether among family or friends, she carried a warmth that left a lasting impression on everyone around her. Nitisha was a young woman with big ambitions and a deep sense of purpose. From an early age, she understood the value of education and was drawn to a path of service and care. Her natural compassion led her to pursue a career as a certified nursing assistant, a role that allowed her to make a meaningful difference in the lives of others. But she didn't stop there. Determined to keep growing, she set her sights on becoming a certified medical assistant and started her journey to that goal in August 2020. Further proof of her dedication to building a stable and fulfilling future. But the heartbreaking truth is that she would not be able to reach this goal because of a tragedy that would cost her everything. Throughout her young adult life, Nitisha found herself caught up in cycles of unhealthy relationships, some emotionally draining and others just physically abusive. This would often be seen on her Facebook page, where she would express the grief of being in a relationship. One of the most significant relationships in her life was with Tonio Hughes. At first, things seemed perfect. And on March 30th, 2017, Nitisha gave birth to a beautiful boy, Nylo Lattimore, a moment that should have been filled with joy and new beginnings. But shortly after Nylo's birth, the cracks in their relationship began to show. As their bond deteriorated, Nitisha made the difficult decision to end things with Tonio. Despite her efforts to create stability for Nylo, Tonio refused to take responsibility for his son. Left to raise Nylo on her own, Nitisha took on the emotional and financial burden, working tirelessly to ensure her son had everything he needed, no matter the cost. Things would take a dramatic turn for Nitisha when she married another man on October 5th, 2019. While his identity remains unknown, one thing was sure. He initially seemed to care for Nitisha and welcomed her son into their lives, at least for a time. However, the reality of their relationship quickly shifted. Nitisha soon found herself trapped in an abusive marriage, a side of her new husband she hadn't seen before. Just months after their wedding in May 2020, Nitisha made the painful decision to leave and start fresh with her son. Her son was always her driving force. He was the reason she pushed forward, working tirelessly toward her goal of becoming a medical assistant, determined to provide him with everything he needed. Her love for him was undeniable, and she often shared their moments together on social media.
Talk. 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 Say hi. Talk. Wave. Say hi. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Say bye.
Bye.
Say bye now. Bye. Say bye. Say bye-bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
A testament to their deep bond they shared. For the coming months, after her marriage ended, Nitisha's social media would show her drive to get a better job, getting accepted to a school, and moments with her son. But just when it seemed like she was rebuilding her life, everything took an unexpected turn. Out of nowhere, in the middle of the COVID pandemic on July 11th, 2020, Nitisha made a startling announcement on her social media that she was pregnant. She was nothing but exhilarated about being pregnant again, but little did she know, this unexpected pregnancy would set the stage for a series of events that would change her life forever. The father of the baby she was carrying at the time was 20-year-old Deshaun Brown. In the beginning, Deshaun appeared to be just like any other young man in his 20s, posting videos of himself dancing, sharing glimpses of his life. He came across as carefree, even charming. At times, he seemed like a genuinely sweet guy, especially when he was seen playing with Nitisha's son, Nylo, showing a side of him that made it hard to believe what was to come.
Whoa, whoa! Whoa, whoa! Whoa, whoa!
Though little is known about the details of their relationship from the outside, it seemed to be one full of moments of joy. When Nitisha became pregnant, both she and Deshaun were excited about starting a family together, but their joy was overshadowed by a complication. On July 20, 2020, Nitisha shared a post about being rushed to the hospital due to pregnancy complications. The doctors informed her that she was at risk of miscarrying the baby, a heartbreaking diagnosis that cast a shadow over what should have been a joyful time in their lives. But the worst was yet to come. On July 30th, 2020, just days after fighting to save her unborn child, Nitisha suffered a miscarriage. The loss was devastating, not only for Nitisha but also for Deshaun, as both had hoped to build a future together around their growing family. But Deshaun didn't take the loss well. Quietly, his grief twisted into suspicion, and soon he began to believe that Nitisha had done it on purpose. That dangerous thought would soon spiral into something deadly. In the months that followed, nothing seemed to be out of the ordinary. From August to December, there were no public signs of conflict. Nitisha continued posting about her daily life, spending time with Nylo, and working toward her goals. But behind the scenes, something had shifted. Deshaun hadn't let go of his anger. What started as quiet grief had hardened into something far more dangerous, and on December 12, 2020, everything would come crashing down in the most tragic way imaginable. In the early hours of that day, at approximately 3:15 a.m., the Hamilton County Police Department received a chilling 911 call.
Cincinnati 911, what is the address of your emergency?
I found a dead body. Somebody threw a bag like on the edge of the bridge, and my curiosity got the best of me. So I got up there and knocked it down, and it was heavy. It hit the ground. It's like a body bag. Yeah, I'm almost 60 years old, and I've never had anything like this.
Right.
I never thought, this is crazy.
It was from a distressed security guard who had found a dead body inside a body bag under the Purple People Bridge in Peter Rose Way in downtown Cincinnati. The police hurriedly rushed to the scene, and what they discovered inside the body bag was horrifying: the dead body of Nitisha. What made it even more horrifying was the manner in which she died. When the police inspected further, they saw that her body had multiple stab wounds that ultimately caused her tragic demise. But as they looked around the area, something else caught their attention: a bloodied Paw Patrol blanket. This discovery shook the investigators, prompting them to worry about Nitisha's son, Nylo. The presence of the blanket suggested that he may have been involved in the crime or was somehow in harm's way. Right then and there, the police were haunted by the mystery of who could have committed this brutal crime, but it wasn't long until the case would make a sharp focus. As the police began to piece together the details of Nitisha's tragic murder, they secured surveillance footage from her apartment building in Walnut Hills. What they uncovered would send a cold shiver down their spines. On the night of December 11, 2020, a man was captured on surveillance camera walking suspiciously cautiously along the corridors of Nitisha's apartment while carrying a large body bag. It was the same bag that contained the lifeless body of Nitisha. That man was no other than her boyfriend, Deshaun Brown. This discovery, along with the witness statement from the security guard who found the body, allowed investigators to quickly zero in on Deshaun Brown as their prime suspect. And just 2 days later, on December 14, 2020, Deshaun was taken into custody for questioning in connection with Nitisha's murder.
Deshaun Brown sits in jail, awaiting trial for the murder of a mother and her young son.
He made a choice and he decided that this little boy's life wasn't worth what he had done to the mom and go into prison for the rest of his life. And he chose to Nylo in an incredibly barbaric method.
Soon after his arrest, Deshaun was charged with the murder of Nitisha Lattimore. At first, the charges were limited to her death, but what Deshaun confessed next was shocking. According to his own chilling account, the murder didn't happen on the day her body was found. Deshaun revealed that he had actually killed Nitisha on December 5th, 2020, a full 5 days before he dumped her body under the bridge near the Ohio River. But what was more disturbing was that he did not leave right away. Deshaun stayed in her apartment for hours after killing her, along with her lifeless body, and the horror didn't stop there. On December 6th, the day after the murder, Deshaun took 3-year-old Nylo and left the apartment with him. The child was still alive, likely confused and scared, clinging to the only adult he had left. Deshaun then made his way over to the Ohio River, and in one of the most heartless acts imaginable, he threw Nylo into the water alive. But that wasn't all. The authorities later revealed that the blood on the Paw Patrol blanket that was discovered near Nitisha's body belonged to Nylo. This crucial detail suggested something even more horrifying. Nylo had been severely beaten before he was thrown into the freezing river. Deshaun didn't just end 2 lives, he made both of them suffer. This confession prompted the search of Nylo's body on the river, where Deshaun claimed to have thrown him in.
2 guys take a left, and we're gonna go around that alcove.
Geared up with plans in place, search crews broke into teams.
Get eyes on every little inlet and corner.
And scoured miles of the Ohio riverbanks for 3-year-old Nylo Lattimore. Prosecutors say his mother, 29-year-old Nitisha Lattimore, was found dead in a plastic bag Saturday near the Purple People Bridge. Her boyfriend, 20-year-old Deshaun Brown, now charged with her murder. Cincinnati police tell us family members found a stroller that may have belonged to the Lattimores at nearby Yateman's Cove. And that's where today's search began.
Right now we are covering the shoreline from here all the way to the Great Miami, which is 21 miles. So that's all sectored off, and in each sector we have a team searching along the shoreline.
Crews say they're not 100% sure Nylo's even near the river.
But at least we can come back and say we know that he's not on the shore.
Each crew member is volunteering their time. Many are retired or current law enforcement officers. They say they're tracking what ground they cover, and that info will be turned over to detectives working the case.
Each one of our members has a GPS, and the GPS goes onto a mapping system, so we can tell exactly where every member is searched. So we take that data and we give the data back to the police so they can come in and say, we for sure have checked this area.
Investigators say Brown saw Nitisha Lattimore several times at an apartment on Melrose Avenue. But tonight, they still don't know what happened to Nylo. And I did hear from Nitisha's father today, and he admits he and his wife did not have a close relationship with their daughter. Still, he says he is just at a loss for words. He says he and his wife have now lost their oldest daughter. They have a missing grandson, and they want answers. Reporting live tonight at Yateman's Cove, Karen Johnson, WLWT News 5.
What happened next was the massive search for the child, but it was to no avail. Nylo's body was never recovered. The only thing that the search team found was his trolley, which sank in the marshy water of the river, a testament to the tragedy that the innocent child faced at the hands of a cruel man.
Search continues today for a missing 3-year-old boy. Nylo Lattimore was last seen on December 4th. Meanwhile, his mother, Nitisha Lattimore, was found stabbed to death on Saturday near the Purple People Bridge. Reporter Mariel Carbone is live right now at Yateman's Cove, where crews are continuing the search efforts here along the river and in the river. And Mariel, what's happening there this afternoon?
Yeah, Craig, well, crews packed up about 2 hours ago, but not before a dive team was in the river along the river line, really launching from that sandy area behind us. A boat with sonar launched out here, and K9 units were out here as well, all of them just looking for any clues to what happened to Nylo. Meanwhile, back at home, his neighbors are just praying for a safe return. Down along the river's edge, crews are searching for clues. While a few miles away, neighbors are searching for answers.
It's been the only thing on my mind since I found out, and my wife and I have both lost a couple of nights of sleep.
Chad Hegler lives in the same building as 3-year-old Nylo Lattimore, who he says is always smiling, always happy.
Energetic, full of life. He's a sweetheart. He's a sweetheart. What else can you say about an angel like that?
Nylo was reported missing Saturday afternoon. The same day, his mother, Nitisha Lattimore, was found near the Purple People Bridge. A stroller belonging to the family was found nearby, but no Nylo. According to police, the boy was last seen on December 4th at his Walnut Hills apartment. That's where police say 20-year-old Deshaun Brown, his mother.
He was never really nice. He was not supposed to even be here. He was kicked off the property several times.
Neighbor Tamara Paddock says Brown caused trouble in the building, but she's trying to stay focused on Nylo.
My main concern right now is that the little boy is somehow found safe.
While also processing the unthinkable.
Anybody. It is heartbreaking, but for a little boy to lose their mom and then not know where that little kid is it's devastating.
Pay attention. You know, we've gotten into a day and age where we don't know our neighbors. We don't know who's around us, and as it's proven here, it can be deadly.
And neighbors say that the family only lived in that apartment complex for about 6 months. Now, when we were there today, detectives were still going through the unit. It's unclear if they're searching anywhere else aside from the apartment, as well as down here by the river. Reporting live at Yateman's Cove, Marielle Carbone, WCPO 9 News.
Despite not having found Nylo's body, the investigators have concluded that he was already dead, given the conditions that he was in. The shocking discoveries that the investigators did not end there. It was just half of the pieces of evidence that would pile up against Deshaun. When they looked into his phone, what they uncovered only confirmed the premeditation behind this monstrous crime. As they dug deeper, they found that he ordered a body bag on eBay. But that wasn't all. Investigators also found that he had been searching for cleaning supplies that would be strong enough to clean up a significant and serious mess. And the most haunting of all, Deshaun had been looking up bridges in Cincinnati. All of this pointed to the one undeniable truth. This was not just a crime because of the heat of an argument. It was a crime that had been planned for. But there is one detail in his confession that reveals his twisted reasoning behind this gruesome crime. When investigators pressed him further, he revealed the chilling thought process that had driven him to the murder of Nitisha and her child. According to Deshaun, the miscarriage of their child had consumed him with an overwhelming sense of betrayal. He claimed that he had become convinced that Nitisha had deliberately caused the miscarriage, that she had somehow sabotaged their unborn baby on purpose. Deshaun later confessed that he killed Nitisha to punish her for what he thought she had done, and in a shocking act of cruelty, he extended that punishment to her innocent son, Nylo. With his confession, damning physical evidence, and a clear timeline of events, investigators were able to build a strong case against him. Deshaun Brown was ultimately charged with 2 counts of aggravated murder for the deaths of Nitisha Lattimore and her son Nylo, along with tampering with evidence and gross abuse of a corpse. With this, justice is now awaiting, but the battle for justice was far from over. As the legal proceedings moved forward, Deshaun's defense team began to challenge the very heart of the case, his taped confession. Despite the horror and detail of his own words, his attorneys argued that the confession should be thrown out, claiming that it had been improperly obtained and that Deshaun wasn't fully aware of his rights at the time of the interrogation. That tape told a different story.
Brown's defense attorney called for the hearing to ask the judge to throw out his confession tape. They claim police intimidated him into it and denied his request for an attorney. Detective Kimberly Kelly read what she said in the interrogation.
Before you said you wanted an attorney, but now you're saying you want to talk to us. Do you want to talk to us without an attorney? And Mr. Brown says, yes, ma'am.
The actual conversation that happened displayed the full cooperation of Deshaun with the confession that he made. In the end, the presiding judge ruled that the police did not act improperly and denied the motion to suppress the confession. And with that, the full weight of justice surged forward. The prosecutors are pushing for the death penalty for Deshaun if he is convicted of the crime. It was a rare move in Hamilton County, one not taken lightly. But in the eyes of the law, this case stood out for its sheer cruelty and disregard for human life. Just when it seemed that the case was moving forward, Deshaun's team would do something unexpected. His legal team filed a motion to remove the death penalty as a punishment for Deshaun if convicted of the crime. They filed for this on the grounds that Deshaun was suffering from a mental illness. They claimed that he was suffering from bipolar disorder, which, according to them, impaired his ability to fully comprehend his actions at the time of the crime. But this unexpected twist would not go unchecked. The final decision of the judge sided with Nitisha's case, noting that Deshaun may have been suffering from bipolar disorder, but it did not impair his ability to discriminate right from wrong, and given the heinous nature of the crime, the death penalty is the rightful punishment for it. As of now, Nitisha Lattimore's case remains ongoing, with both the prosecution and her family still seeking justice for the senseless loss of a mother and her innocent child. Initially, the trial was scheduled to begin on January 25, 2025, but due to a change in the presiding judge, it has now been delayed until October 6, 2025, almost 5 years after the horrifying crime that took Nitisha and her son's lives. The delay only deepens the grief that Nitisha's family continues to endure. They are left to mourn the loss of two beautiful souls, tragically taken by a man whose cruelty knows no bounds. The family's hope remains clear. Deshaun Brown must face the full extent of the law for his actions, though nothing can ever bring back what they have lost. The pain of their loss of Nitisha, a woman who did nothing wrong, and of her young son Nylo is immeasurable and will never be replaced by the mere consequences of his actions. Nitisha was laid to rest at Spring Grove Cemetery in Cincinnati, where her family continues to honor her memory. Despite the passage of time, her spirit lives on in the hearts of those who loved her, and they are determined to see justice served in her name. The case of Nitisha Lattimore and her son Nylo highlights the devastating effects of unchecked anger and betrayal. It forces us to confront the horrors of toxic relationships and the consequences of untreated emotional distress. While justice may bring some closure, the profound loss felt by Nitisha's family serves as a reminder that no legal outcome can heal such deep, irreparable wounds. Let us know what you think about this case in the comments below.